did how much last month, and where are you at so far this month, halfway through July?
So right now, I was still waiting on two big deposits, but I just closed two people yesterday. I'm at like 27,000.
So you'll be at like what, 40 some thousand?
Yep.
Nutty, bro. Halfway through the month. And then what'd you clear June at?
So June was a down month. It's not a down, like I say.
It's okay. What was the down month?
I think 37 or 39.
What about the month before that?
That was my highest. So that was like 57 or 56. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh snap, we're here with Matt. Bro, so proud of you, bro. Like I was looking forward to this meeting for a while. Like when I saw you actually schedule it for the podcast session, I was amped. We've got a lot of guys in here that crush and do pretty well. Yours specifically, and you specifically, like your journey, where you're at now, where you're at before, I am exuberantly ecstatic about, because I think you are don't let this get to your head. I think you're a prime example of being a great provider, husband, CEO, business owner, example for his kids. Like, I think you're a true testament to that, and you continue to prove that. And most importantly, you do what you say you're going to do, right? You jumped into this thing. How much were you making at the time? Because were you still working that job, or did you just quit when you jumped in with us like a few months ago?
Yeah, no, I was still working a full-time job before.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if you remember, but I was like kind of skeptical when we had that first call. And so I was
Yeah.
like, is this guy legit? And I knew I needed it, but yeah, I mean, I basically too followed you, looked at all your free content, and implemented as much as free content as I could. And then when it started working, it was like it was pretty awesome. I was like, okay, this is something that I want to do. So before I entered the program, I think in the beginning of the year is when I really started running ads. I think I hit 18K one month, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh dang, if I can do this like not in the program, just following your stuff, like imagine what I can do in the program.
And I love that too. So we didn't really do a formal intro, but F it, let's just get straight into it. I love that too, because I remember chatting with you, and you were already making money by implementing just some free the YouTube videos and stuff that we put out, and maybe I think watching also some of the guys kind of on their Instagrams behind the scenes, and you just implemented before you even jumped in here, and you're able to make that kind of money, which I think is just such a good testament to how many people actually watch my content, how many people watch YouTube videos in general, how many people try to watch content and digest and feel like they're being productive to learn, but how few people actually ever even do anything in the first place, right? Like, you are given something in front of you to actually take some sort of action. The amount of people that don't do that and they just like to feel good is insane to me. And so the fact that you already implemented and you already achieved results transparently, I was like trying to hard close in the beginning. So I was like, bro, this dude's going to crush. Like, I know he's going to do so well. If he's already done this, bro, like if you just had a little bit more support, a little bit of guidance, and like the right people in your corner, absolutely to the moon. And it took a minute, understandably so. It does with a lot of people, but you ended up jumping in and you're absolutely crushing. And now you're with us in Ascension, working a lot more like one-on-one together. And you did how much last month, and where are you at so far this month? Remind me, in July, halfway through July?
So right now, I was still waiting on two big deposits, but I just closed two people yesterday, and they just did a down payment. But I'm at like 27,000 right, like as it stands today. But I got two more deposits that are coming. They're both at 10 grand.
So you'll be at like what, 40 some thousand is what you're at?
Yeah.
Cash collected.
Yep.
Halfway into
I'm
July.
at cash collected today. I'm 27, but like
Correct.
those two other
Okay.
deposits are, one's coming today and one's coming on Monday. So yeah,
that's nutty, bro. Halfway through the month, and then what'd you clear June at?
So June was a down month. Yeah, it's not a down, like I say.
It's okay. What was the down month?
39. I think 37 or 39.
It's such a bad month, bro. What about the month before that? That was for 50.
That was my highest. So that was like 57 or 56. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, let's talk about your story beforehand, okay? Because you were working a job, but it was paying decently well, and you were doing marketing for them. You had a decent role, decent ownership, but you wanted more. So fill me in on what was life like before you even started, not even working with us, but just like started doing your own thing to try to build your own business. What was that like?
Yeah. So basically, my wife and I, so we came through a really hard season. I was actually a pastor for about 10 years. And so then we got super burnt out. I had tragedy. I don't even know if you know this, but my dad passed away kind of tragically from cancer. And then that really just took me out. My dad was, my mom died of cancer too in 2008. So lost both my parents. And then my niece ended up passing away 6 months later in a tragic car accident after my dad passed away. And so our family
I don't know
is
if I knew all of that. I don't know if I
No,
knew.
you didn't.
Oh,
No.
my goodness. When did your dad pass? When was that?
So it's been about, I think about 5 years ago, or so, maybe 4 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So that like really like took me out like for
Hmm.
like a while. And so
Yeah.
I got super depressed, super like it was just very difficult. And I was, and so it felt like a way out, a way
Yep.
to like get out of where I was. And so we were living in Austin, Texas, moved to South Carolina, and it was the hardest move we've ever done as a family. I have two kids at the time,
Hmm.
they're now 7 and 5, but very difficult. My wife was struggling. I mean, we were in this little rental house. We went from owning a house in Texas to like not knowing anybody. Um, her our My sister-in-law lives here, so which is that's nice, but other than that we didn't know anybody else. Super difficult, burnt out season. I was going to work for the first time, like as a youth pastor. I didn't have to go like 9 to 5 all the time, right? So I kind of had a my schedule, but here I like had to go wake up early in the morning, go 8 hours a day. And my wife was home. She was working full time as well because she needed to. So she was working for an agency as a client success manager and watching the kids at the same time. So she was doing parenting and watching the kids at the time, super burnt out, like at the
Yeah.
point where like we almost like left. She's like, I want to move back to Texas. I don't want to live here anymore. Like I can't do this. And then it really affected our marriage. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, it was not good. And so last year, probably in about January, February, I just decided I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I have to provide for my family, and I started the mission of like get dad home. That's what I kind of told my wife and my family. The mission is I'm going to get dad home. I'm going to start my own business. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to rely on somebody else anymore. We have to
Yeah.
do this. And so started, I was in head of marketing, seen a lot of success there. We scaled a business, to 10 million plus from zero in 2 years to over 10 million. So I was like, well, I know how to do this. Let's try to do this. And so started like trying to make websites for people, try to, do all the marketing stuff that you
Mhm.
typically would do, like a smorgasbord of everything.
Yeah. That's how we all start,
And
right? Do like videos over here, photo shoot over here. I'll build you a website. Let me try and figure out Google stuff. Like, yeah, it's trying to do all of it. Yep.
yeah, everything. And was like seeing a little bit of traction here and there. Wasn't really making much money, a couple thousand a month or something. And I had a partner that I went in with. And then we were also building a house. So we were building a house at the time.
Mhm.
My wife had a six-figure job. Like, she was doing great and I was doing great. I had a great job as well. But we had to have two incomes in order to sustain life. And so I don't know when it was, it's probably like towards the end, I guess when we just moved in, we built our house in August and we moved in August. And after we moved in, found out we got pregnant, I was pregnant, we were pregnant. So first, awesome, right? So we actually thought that we wouldn't have any more than two kids. So we
Fair.
always wanted four kids, but life got in the way. We were stressed. We were financially strapped, feeling like even though we had good jobs, um, we just we just weren't in a place where life got in the way and we weren't able to add on. So this unexpected pregnancy was really scary. And because that meant like, okay, well, what is Michelle going to have to do? She's going to have to quit her job. And that means losing her income. And so I just like, I that moment was like, no freaking way. Like I'm
Right.
figuring this out no matter what. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. So I went and told my partner, hey man, I'm going to have to leave the company or I'll buy you out because I'm going on my own. I can't sustain us taking 50%. And then so he's like, cool, thank you. He's like, I appreciate the honesty. I bought him out. I just went full send into the company, and then I pivoted from doing everything else. I think I came across your content, and I was like, video work. I was like, yeah, I mean, I have a video background. This is like this fits like meta ads. I know how to do that, you know, and I'm good at video. So let's just go full send. So I started watching your content just nonstop, and started getting some traction. And I think like I like looked it up earlier. I think that my first $10,000 month was in November or December. I think it was November, and I think we had a call in November or December, one of those months, our first call.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's what kind of kicked off that journey. But in November, December, when I hit that first like $10,000 month, I was like, oh, I can do this. Like this is possible. Like we can make this work with my business.
You know how many people say they want to like retire their wife? They want to provide for the family, or they want to make X amount of money, or they want to do whatever. Like, you know how many men say that? Like all of them, bro. Like everybody says it. How come maybe 2% actually end up doing it? Why do you think that is? Because you did it.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like I feel like there was a lot of years where I didn't, where I couldn't,
Mm,
where I like there was years in the past when I was like I had opportunities to start my own business when I was
yeah.
like as a youth pastor, and I was a very good youth pastor. Like we like but I was doing stuff on the side, and I talked about it many times. Start my own business. We can do this. Like I could make money, and I was making
Mm,
money on the side doing video work. And when my dad died, something like switched in me. Number
mm.
one was that my dad, he was an entrepreneur like my whole life. I've seen him start tons and tons of businesses and very successful. But I kind of blew my life up at times. Like, I wasn't a very model model kid, got into the whole drug scene and everything, and really blew
Mm.
my life up pretty bad. You probably don't know this, but like, I
No,
went to jail and like really had
wow.
yeah, did a bunch of stupid stuff, right? And so really threw away a lot of opportunity that I had to like learn from my dad. And I always knew like my dad would always bail me out, like no matter what happened. And then when my dad died, and then when my mom was already gone, so both my parents were gone, the realization hit me that no one's coming for me. That like I'm on my own. Like, um, and when that hit, like it flipped a switch in me where I was like, oh, like if I don't take the reins of my life now, like my finances and my family, then I'm going to be stuck on this wheel of building other people's lives and other people's businesses.
I can feel your sincerity and empathize with you. My dad's got cancer. I think you know that too, right? Like stage 4, and it's come back a couple times now. It's probably gonna come back again. And so I can't even imagine, right? Like I'm so blessed to have both my parents. And the idea of losing like my father specifically is difficult. And so I haven't gone through that yet, but I can understand that. And I went to this talk. It wasn't a talk. It was a big event. Ed Milet, you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Dude, I'd follow him. I love this dude. Ed Milet. He spoke, and he's, serial entrepreneur, public speaker. He's super good at it. He lost his dad, and he talked about how you don't really become a man until your dad passes. And he said, because once he leaves, that is the one moment when you realize it's up to you, and you now take the reins of the patriarchy, like role in the family of like now it's your turn. And because like, dude, I whenever I'm in really bad positions, I am able to go to my dad, and it's you take it for granted a lot, and I fear the day when he won't be there anymore. But I also know it's gonna be very bittersweet. Jordan Peterson talks about it too, right? Like the rites of passage almost. And so it's really interesting to hear that. And I admire and respect that a lot. And it's interesting because I talk to people all the time, and I've come to the conclusion and realized that people will not change until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. Until then, people will stay in places of complacency and comfort. And so I was going to ask like what changed, and that's definitely a very clear answer. How do you feel like you've developed as a man specifically, not just like the business, not making money? How have you developed and how have you changed as a man, I guess, since that kind of point?
Yeah, good, great question. Well, I think it's affected like every area of my life. Like I tell me and my wife talk about this all the time. It's like I feel, well, I mean, one, like obviously being able to provide for your family is like the most like masculine feeling
Yeah.
that like I can't even explain the feeling. It's just like it's amazing. And then
Mm,
the fact too, my wife, not even get into the fact about like the pregnancy part yet here. Like we haven't even
yeah.
got into like that
Yeah.
part two of that, but
You got a lot.
my wife being able to stay home and like she's an amazing a woman, and she's great at like being a class success manager and all that, but she is phenomenal at being a mother and taking care of our family. And like they're like it just feels like our roles are they fit and they just work so well.
Yeah.
And I think for me as a man, like I've
Mm,
grown like taking ownership in all areas of my life, actually doing what I say I'm going to do. I mean, that's been a huge one, and I mean, I've grown immensely, and it's affected even our relationship. Like when my wife had to work to provide, I don't know how to explain it, but it our dynamic and relationship
Oh yeah.
just didn't was weird.
Yeah.
And now that she doesn't have to work and doesn't have to like do that, like like it just feels the best way to explain it is like this feels like a puzzle piece that just fits perfectly, and we're both doing our roles, and it's working really well. Now,
100%.
yeah, do we have stressful moments? Is it like, is there
Sure.
difficult, do I work too long sometimes? Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's things like that in balance, but it just feels really, really good. I mean, I've grown immensely as a person over this past year, probably the most that I have in a very long time. And like I said, I
Yeah.
was a pastor for 10 years. Like,
So that was gonna lead me to my next question. Actually, since then, how did that affect your faith, or did it?
oh yeah, I mean, big time. I think for me, like, God's been a part of my life for obviously a long time. And one thing when you're a pastor, the weird thing is like your relationship with God is related to your income. So like,
Yeah, I've always thought about that. Yeah.
I don't like it. It gets really
Mm.
weird. Um,
Yeah.
so if you and I'm not a person that performs like whatsoever. So I'd always get in trouble because I couldn't, I didn't want to like,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to fake it. Like I can't do that. Uh,
Interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. And you did that for a
yeah,
while, right?
yeah, 10 years. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So how'd that affect your faith? Like, where do you stand now?
yeah. So for now I would say that like I have, um, it's deep in my faith. I mean, for sure. So like the growth in who I am, and my trust in God, like for sure. Like, and no, and like knowing like God, this is like God, He wants me to be successful. Like it's like He wants us to make money. He wants us to provide
Thank
for
you.
our family. Like it's like
Yeah.
this is like you don't have to be poor. You
Dude,
know?
the amount of people that I talk with, exactly. We talk with a lot of guys, and it's so frustrating and infuriating whenever I talk to someone who goes. I talk to like a dude who's married, lots of husbands, lots of family men, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I don't want to make too much. I don't need a lot of money. I just need to like make this much." And I've always thought about it, and I'm always like, why do men like why do they suffocate their abilities and like push themselves down and go like, I don't need that. I don't need a nice car. First of all, when people say that and they're like, I don't need like nice cars or a nice house, it's like you obviously don't know where the fuck to spend your money. Like if that's what you think making a lot of money means, right? Like that's
Yeah,
insane. There's so much more to it than that. But 100%. Like, and then also when people like don't know how to make a lot of money or more money, or like they don't know how to make more for themselves, they're working 9 to 5, whatever. And so instead they try to convince themselves or say shit like, oh, money will corrupt you, or like God doesn't want you to do that. And it's just simply not the case. Or I talk to some people sometimes that are like nervous or scared. It can't actually be true. I can't fathom this being true. Of like, oh, I don't want to like become greedy. I've heard that before a lot of times. I don't want to become greedy if I make a lot. And I truthfully believe to the bottom of my core, having experienced it, I don't believe money changes people. I don't believe it changes men. I think it emphasizes who you really are deep down. Right. Like if you are a man
yeah,
of God, if you're a provider, you're a husband, like you care for your family, you want to provide jobs, you want to do whatever. If that's what you want to do and like that's who you genuinely are at your core, and you're not just saying that, you making a lot more money will emphasize and build upon that exact same mentality, mindset, ideology. Like it's not going to change anything. And I know because I kind of thought that. I was like, what's going to happen when and dude, now that we're in a position like this, our actions dictate what's actually important to us. And it's exactly what I always said it would be. So anyway, God wants us to be successful, but it's also in how
yeah,
you steward the money you make. It's where you put it, making sure we're putting it in the right places. So I resonate with that hardcore.
yeah.
So
I agree, and I think it just magnifies what's already there. So
yeah,
like
exactly.
I've met plenty of greedy people who are poor.
Mm, yeah. Yep.
Right? I mean, like plenty of greedy people, plenty of people who are stuck in consumerism who have no money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them.
So, I mean, it's like it's just emphasizing something that's already there. I think for me, like Two, like realizing like money, it doesn't, we buy a new vehicle. Like we've driven, I have an old Tundra that's like a 2011 old Tundra. And we have a Kia that's an older Kia, but our family, since we've given, our child has been born, or we haven't talked about this part, but, since we've expanded our family, we didn't fit in the vehicles anymore. So I was like, let's go get a nice car. I've never had a nice car. So I went and bought a nice vehicle that can fit all of us. It's like nice to drive around. It's like, it doesn't make us happy. It doesn't make us more
Yeah.
happier. Like it's comfortable. What you buy is comfort. Is
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make you happy, but it makes your life a little bit more comfortable. That's the
Yeah.
best way to explain it.
Yeah. 100%. Dude, let's talk about like some technical application stuff here with the business. Okay. Because
Yeah.
your results are a bit of an outlier. Not, this is not like typical for most people that come through here. It's not like you come in, you're going to make 50 grand in a few months. Yours are a bit of an outlier, but I want to talk about this because I genuinely believe this is what I've done. I've invested over 6 figures in coaching mentorship over the past couple of years. Like I go heavy into it. Like I'm all about learning from other people. I have no pride, no ego. I don't give a shit. Like somebody take my money that's further ahead than me and show me exactly what to do so I don't have to make mistakes on my own. And so I want to apply that same principle here, right? Because I really believe that people that are going to be successful are not the ones that like join a group like this or want to consider doing it and dedicate their time, attention, and energy into looking at the people that don't perform well and go, oh, what happened there? Why aren't they crushing? Why, like, how many people don't get results? The winners 100% of the time are the ones that don't even think about them. They come in, they look at the top dogs and they go, how do I do what they did? How do I be like them? What did they do differently? And they dedicate their time and attention to implementing exactly that. So for you, I want to kind of practice that now. For you, man, like from a high level, if you could think about like the top 1 to 3 things that you've implemented, skills you've learned, things that have clicked for you, things you've done differently over the past 6 months-ish of building this, that you believe have had the biggest impact on bringing you to the position that you're in now in your video agency?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think number one, and this probably people are going to skip past this and be like, oh yeah, but like maybe not. But this number one is that I decided that I was going to do this and make this work and hit $50,000 months no matter what. Like
Pause.
nothing was going to stop me.
If anyone skips past this, don't be surprised if you don't end up where you want to be 6 months from now. Like fucking listen, because I 100% agree. And I'm glad you said that. It sounds kind of cliche, but holy shit, is it true? So continue.
Yeah. And so I think I actually was reading the book. Oh my gosh, what is it? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Uh, and then I was also reading the other book. I have it on my nightstand. It's an old book. It's all about money. If I said it, you'd immediately remember it. Oh my goodness, what's it called? Um, Anyways, basically he talks about like setting your mind on things and like achieving that. Like when you set your mind on it for money wise, like you will achieve it. You will like the more you wake up, you think about it, you ruminate about it, you dream about it before you go to sleep, you will achieve that thing. And I literally just did that. And I just every single day, I'm like, I'm going to hit $50,000 no matter what. And I would look at my revenue and I was like, yep, I'm at 10,000, 12,000, I'm at 18,000. I'm going to hit 50,000. And I remember when we had conversations when I got into the program, and I told you that every single time.
You did.
I'm going to hit this. I'm going to do it. I
And
don't know how. I'm going to do it.
You were I can count on one hand how many guys have done stuff like that said, I'm going to hit this number. And I can think of, ironically enough, I can think of one other dude at the top of my head that did that every week. And that was Nolan, right? People are always like, success leaves clues. And it is so true. And I don't know why more people aren't going, okay, who are the top dudes and what are the commonalities? What are the common differentiating factors between these guys and everyone else? Because it's very clear for me. Granted, I got a front row seat to it, but it's very clear. And that's definitely one of them. It's already deciding before you even commit to anything. Everybody else doesn't even think about numbers. We're the ones that have to tell them. And then we're the ones telling them this is what you're going to hit. Nobody thinks about that stuff, right? But when you can visualize it, you think about it every single day and you wake up and you just keep looking at it and you're going to hit it. Like, how did it feel? Because you've been saying 50K a month for a few months. How did it feel that 1 month when you passed that 50?
It felt amazing. Honestly, so the funny thing is, like when first at the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, what's a crazy goal? And wasn't doing like, I'd hit 10K, I think in December, and I was like, what would be a crazy goal? I'm like, I think $50,000 would be a crazy goal, and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna hit it. I'm like, if I get a timeline, I'm like, okay, maybe like November, December of 2026, I could probably do it. And then I remember once I started getting higher numbers, I'm like, 50,000, that's gonna be an easy goal. Like and then I remember we got uh uh and then I remember we got into the program and you're like, and then we were kind of going back and forth. We're like, what do you want to hit? And I was like, well, 50,000. And then like we had a couple meetings later and I'm like, dude, I don't like 50,000 just sounds too easy. And like that's when we were like, okay, let's go to 100. And now like no jokes, like 50,000 isn't difficult. And now I'm like, okay, if I can get 100, now I'm talking doubling this thing, like going from 50 to $100,000 months. And I'm like, $100,000, but this is doable. Like at the end of the year, I'm gonna hit $100,000 and
Oh yeah.
consecutively. Like we're
Oh yeah.
we're doing this, and
Yeah.
that just blows my mind. So the first time we did 50,000, I could not believe that we hit that fast. I mean, I could believe it because I know how much work we have put into it, but at the same time, it was just like it was the best feeling ever. That to hit my goal that quick gave me the most confidence, like that I've probably have ever had. Like confidence in myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't have everything perfect. Yes, there's issues where I'm breaking stuff all the time, and
Oh yeah.
but that like to know that I set a goal and like that was big and accomplished it that quickly. Yeah, it reassured me too that like, oh, I know how to make money now.
Yep.
Like we can
Once
turn
in
this on, we can
And
make money.
once you have the skill of making money, you'll never be broke again in your life, which is a really cool feeling. I actually, first time I heard that concept was when I was working at Black Rifle Coffee and I was like their videographer making 35 grand a year full time. And it was like crazy to me at the time. It was like back in 2019. And I remember the CEO, Evan, uh, I was having a conversation with him and he was sitting down with me. And he said, Ridge, once you learn these skills, you will never be broke in your life. Cause I was leaving to go like do my own thing. And he
Mhm.
was fully supportive. He's like, dude, you're going to crush and you're going to do well. Learn these skills. You'll never be broken in your life. And that is sales. Learn how to sell. And I also love when people are like, oh, I don't want to be pushy or I don't want to come across this way. Dude, if you feel like you're being pushy on a sales call or you feel slimy or sleazy, it's only because you don't believe in the thing you're selling. Because if you believed it would genuinely change someone's life, I'm going to be pushy as fuck. I'm going to do whatever I can to take their money because I know it's going to make them a hell of a lot more in return. Right. And so I think that is just the first fallacy people need to get out of their mind. It's like, okay, no, because you need to sell, because it's your duty to hold people accountable to the goals that they say they have and do whatever it takes necessary to be able to afford them the opportunity to be able to hit it. Right. Otherwise, you are doing them a disservice by not pushing them and holding them accountable. You know how many guys I've been pushy with on these calls that now make a fuckload of money? A lot. And do you think they care now? No, they don't. That's like a big thing too. And I know you could relate to that too, right? Like you have
Yep.
no problem selling to people because you know you're going to make them good money. You got case studies to
Yeah.
back it up.
100%. And I
So
think honestly, probably too, that if that would be number two, is that like so I probably have a little bit of unfair, maybe I don't, I have an unfair advantage, maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm 38. I'm going, I'm older. I'm not old, but like, 38. I was head of marketing for a company and
yep,
we
yep,
grew this company. So I had a lot of confidence and experience of like, oh, I know
yep,
how to grow a company and like I've done it. We went through all of it, spent a ton of money, running ads and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that helped give me confidence in the fact that I know how to make money. And so like when I went on sales calls, like previously, like I mean, I think when I sold my first, I wasn't even in the program yet. So by the way,
yep,
I just
yep.
literally copied your program. But I sold my first like paid in full like a 10 grand package. And I was like, holy shit, this person was giving me 10 grand up front to do this. And I was like, okay, like, and I was built my own sales script. Like, and I just did it off
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
best I knew how to. And I just kind of fumbled my way through. I had a script. It wasn't the greatest, but I like kind of, I did it. And then when I came to the program and then you gave me the sales script and I was like, okay, I implemented it. I literally freaking closed like the first three people off that sales script. I'm like, holy crap, I just paid for the whole program.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
from that
yeah,
one from that one change. You just gave me that sales script
yeah,
and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And but I for me, I know like I'm not like the greatest like Nolan's incredible at sales, like, and like you guys are incredible, and I'm learning still. I'm not
Well,
the greatest
caveat,
salesperson.
asterisk, caveat, real quick, bro. He
Yeah,
was pathetic when he first started, and so was I. Like we all start somewhere.
yeah,
So, and that's the other thing people need to keep in mind to remember too is like they see people in here when they first jump in, and guys can get overwhelmed and like seeing these dudes like
yeah,
clearing numbers that are just asinine, right? Like, how is this dude
yeah,
making a 6-figure salary but clearing it in a month, and he's like half the age of my dad? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
yeah,
crazy to think about. But people need to remember they also started exactly where you're at. Matter of fact, a lot of them started in even worse positions, right? They couldn't even look someone in the eyes on a sales call when they first started. And it's just another testament to the idea and the fact that like you, unfair advantage, kind of, but at the end of the day, like sure you had experience, but in a completely different industry, totally different marketing tactics and strategies. You haven't ran your own business, you haven't led or managed people on your own. You're selling a whole brand new offer to a different type of persona with a different sales process, different delivery. It's all different. It's all new, right? So you have some
yeah,
background with it, sure, and that probably aided you a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's all new stuff that you are implementing, right? But
yeah,
it's also a testament to the idea and the fact that confidence does play a huge role, right? If
yeah,
you confidence, I think, is the ultimate equalizer. You just need to be confident in yourself and the offer. Most importantly, yourself, though. And what do I mean by that? Like, especially being in the program, what's really cool is like the killers that we have in here. Like I genuinely believe everyone can come in and have so much confidence and conviction in themselves. Not that they have all the answers, but that they will always have the resources to always find the answer. Right. So whatever problem you're facing with a client, whatever goes wrong, whatever, you'll always have the ability to find the answer and solve the problem. And for me, like my confidence in the very beginning when I was trying to get off the ground came from not case studies, not results, but it just came from the fact that I knew myself and my personality, and that I don't care what problem came my way. I don't care what a client needed or what happened or whatever. I would always do whatever it took to find the answer. Right. And because of that, I used that to like lean into and just carry that confidence in all my calls and then start actually clearing those case studies and stuff. So anyway,
yeah.
continue with what you're saying.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I mean by the unfair advantage. Is like my techniques weren't great. Like I said, like there's a lot of things that like I was growing and learning in, but I had a measure of confidence in myself
Yeah.
that like in the sales call, like even though I fumbled through the sales call, like I was confident that I could make the money and
Mm-hmm.
that this would work.
Yeah.
And I think that helped me a lot in closing deals. And then when I added the sales scripts and a little bit of the tactics that you guys help us to go through on some of these coaching calls, that continue to help my close rate. And then
Yeah.
also too, like just I think the other thing is like just spending more money on ads is the
Yeah, no
third
kidding, bro.
is the
Like, seriously.
third is
How much are you
like
spending a day
I
right now?
just I think I'm close to like 250 to 300. So I spend about $7,000 a month on
You're
ads.
still only at like not even more than 300. That's crazy. Because there's guys in here
Yeah.
like Jake's is at 500 a month a day now. Nolan's fucking clearing 1,000 a day. And
Yeah.
then Anton's doing 800 a day. There's a bunch of guys that are doing more than that even.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the other thing too. There's so many people and people probably watching this right now that are like, man, I'm spending money on ads. What's going wrong? Well, first of all, are you optimizing campaigns appropriately, or are you doing like engagement ads or DM ads with like a random video with no structure to it, right? Like, and then also on top of that, you're probably spending $5 a day, right? Like it comes with volume. Like you got to spend money to make money. And I don't know why so many people
Yeah.
try to avoid that, right? Like you got to invest aggressively back in yourself and back into the business. And the whole essence of building something great is that it is only going to come by taking risk. Like you have to be comfortable and accepting of investing heavily and taking that risk to make that money. So yeah, that dude, that
Yeah.
100%. It's like you just got to spend more.
Yeah. So I think those are kind of the three main things. And I'm about ready to increase my ad spend quite a bit. So I'm about ready to go start marketing in two different cities.
Dude.
So adding two more cities. So I'm going to increase my ad spend quite a bit, but that's also I'm going to make a heck of a lot more money too.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah, increasing your TAM for sure. You mentioned before when you're talking about goals and like saying you already made up your mind that you're gonna hit 50K a month before it happened. You were already like, this is happening, it just hasn't happened yet. And then you started realizing like, okay, this is actually pretty easy. Like not easy, but more simple than we thought it would be, more attainable. And then you were like, hold on, 50K, I can do that. That's not a problem. Like that's simple, right? Let me hit the 100. for probably most people watching this right now, they might be looking at you sideways going, what the heck do you mean simple? Dude, I'm lucky to make 10K in a month, right? So if you could like try to answer this as simply as you can, why do you feel it's simple now? Like, because a year ago, you probably wouldn't think that. You'd probably be like, dude, 50K a month, that's like really far away. Why now?
Yeah.
Why now are you like, dude, that's it? Like, what's the reason for that, do you think?
I think when you begin to understand how to actually make money and that like the mechanics of it, it's just a matter of doing more of that to get it to where you want to be. So does that make sense? Like it's really not difficult. Like once you have like a good ad, you have a good offer, which these are all pretty much provided,
Yeah.
and you're confident in the system that works, then it's just doing more of that to get to the numbers you want. Right. So
Yeah.
like I really just look at like Nolan. Like Nolan, Nolan is he just executes really well and he's just not afraid to spend money and he just continues to get better and better. And so like, if I want to close more deals, then I just get better at sales. And if I want to get more sales calls, then I need to spend more money and run more ads.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's just like doing the same thing, but more of it and better. And that's just how you get there. It's not really, I don't
How
know,
important is
that's the
it?
simplest way.
No, 100% simple skills. How important is it, would you say, to like have a productized offer where you're selling like sell to one avatar, one price point, one deliverable set package? Like, how important is it to do that as opposed to like custom packages all over the place?
Oh, I would never do custom ever. Like,
And why is that? Like, how would you explain that?
it takes too much. For one, it takes way too much work. And like, oops, it takes way too much work to be able to implement that. And then also you don't get really good and confident at that one thing. So like I am
Good.
so like, and it's systematized and productized. So like I can train my team how to do the exact same thing over and over for all the clients, and we're just able to scale that much faster versus like coming in and doing
Yeah.
like crazy custom stuff. Like,
Yeah. 100%.
it just doesn't make sense. And then two, like I become more confident in the system, and so therefore I have bigger case studies that I can show these new clients. Like, and honestly, it just compounds and it just compounds and compounds. So like the more I get results because I'm doing the same thing, I'm getting better at that one thing. I can show these new prospects that are coming in, hey, here's what I'm doing, and they're like, it just continues to compound better results, and it makes the sales call easier.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like I'm even experimenting like now. It's like like the one offer when I started was like $7,500 for that 4 months,
Hmm.
and then now I'm at $9,500 at 3 months. And I the other day and we were talking on the chat. I was like, well, I could do $9,500 at probably 2 months.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
uh,
Well, because if you think
and
about it,
it's
like
just
it's crazy because like if you even if you, to keep it simple for math's sake, if you just increased your price, everything else is the same, but you just increased by like $2,000. Couple things. Number one, you when you increase pricing, people think that their close rate's going to drop. Really, it doesn't. If anything, it gets better, right? Because perceived value is still value. And when you charge more for something, if anything, people are going to go, interesting. He's charging a lot for that. It's got to be pretty freaking good. And so it increases perceived value. And then number two, when you spend more, you can if you charge an extra, if you charge an extra 2 grand, so increase pricing by 2 grand, you are now able to afford to spend an extra 1 to 2 grand on ads to acquire a client, and nothing really changes, right? Which gives you more leeway and more room to be able to grow aggressively. And then the third thing is you increase by $2,000, you're making more money working the same amount of time. And I think that's the biggest fallacy. I don't know why people think that they're so afraid to increase their pricing when it's like, well, dude, number one, have your close rate dictate whether you should increase. If your close rate is above 30% fairly consistently, increase your pricing, right? Like you're pretty good there. Um,
yeah,
so anyway, yeah, I'm glad you did that because you're like, oh, I can just keep charging more. This is nuts, and people keep paying it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's funny. Uh,
Yeah, and I think too, just track like you're really keep us accountable on, but is like just tracking your numbers like relentlessly and
yeah,
like
amen to that.
you know seeing where your numbers are at and like how much you're spending, like how many appointments you're setting, what your close rate is, what your cost per acquisition is, like all that kind of stuff. It just like it all helps you to grow and to understand like, okay, this is what I have to do in order to grow, yeah, I mean, just tracking your
Yeah.
numbers is just super important, super
Yeah.
vital.
So you can
And you
make
help
data,
us keep it,
so you
you
can make
help us
data
stay accountable to that.
decisions. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because emotional decisions don't scale. Um,
Yeah.
so
I
another,
think,
go ahead.
so,
Sorry, there's
so
a
if I
bit of
was
a
going to
lag.
add on, yeah, it's okay. If I was going to add on to this just real quick is like what we would have done, what I would have done to get get me towards where I'm at as well. Is I think, and it kind of ties back to that number first point that I mentioned, is it just like relentlessly like going for it. I mean, like one thing I didn't talk about is like we, my wife, during this whole time, I was working full time, working, I just quit my job probably a month and a half ago.
Mhm.
Um, but I was working full time for a job, also running this business, and my wife got pregnant, like I said. In January, we found out we were having twins.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was a very difficult pregnancy, very, very difficult. We had to
Yeah.
go into the doctor's appointments probably 3 to 4 times a week. I mean, it was like
Oh,
very traumatic. They were saying all kinds of stuff that, that one of the babies might not make it, and like, all this stuff. And it was just very, very, very stressful. But at the same time, like I refuse to give up.
mm,
I put every morning, I'd wake up in the morning, no matter how I was doing, and put the time in. I was sometimes I'd work till 12 o'clock at night, also having two other kids. And then my wife got to the point where her pregnancy was so difficult where she couldn't even, um like I was having to take care of the house, like she physically couldn't walk,
mm,
so she, because of some of the complications. And so like I literally had to like take care of the kids, drive the kids to school, get the lunches made, do the laundry, and run the business and do my full-time job. And within that I just kept pushing, pushing, pushing. And so like I think sometimes people make excuses, and like I'm like, dude, if I can do that with
yep,
like you can do that, you're single, like you don't have a family, like don't
bro.
don't
Yeah.
don't fucking give me excuses of like what you can't do. Like bro, like I'm eating shit every day over here, and I'm like, putting in crazy amount of hours, like you. And like people just get really comfortable, they think that they can do things like and not put much work into it, and then their work is really not work, like
Mhm.
like I'm just telling you, like it's like, I mean, there was times like I remember being in sales calls, like literally I was like so exhausted and tired, like the room was almost spinning, and I'm just reading the script, and I'm like, oh dang, I hope I can just like hang on here. And then like sure, like I remember one time there's like
Mm,
this plumber, and bro, like I'm telling you, like, I could have like literally fallen asleep on the call, and I am closing them for like $9,500. And I got out from that, and I was like, wow, I'm like, this is like just consistent effort, consistent action, putting in, not giving up no matter how I felt, refusing to compromise and to get lazy. And I think that consistency, that tenacity, because I knew my wife was leaving a six-figure job.
mhm.
I had to do this no matter what. I think that drive, that fire in me, also helped me achieve that. So I just want to kind of say that.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I was also gonna say too, 100%. Just to tackle and tag on to what you said. If you can do this and you can achieve this, bro, nobody has any excuses. Like I had this guy who was like 21, I think, jump in, and he was concerned because he has a job that he's got to work, and he's like, "Am I gonna have enough time for this? Like, is this something I can do?" And I was like, "Bro, you're single, you're young, you have a full time job where you sit at your desk half the day doing nothing anyway, and you have no kids and no responsibilities, but your freaking apartment rent." I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" It always boils down to just one simple thing, which is how bad do you want it? That's
Yep,
it. Your actions will dictate how bad that you actually want it. Everyone
a
says
hundred
that they
percent.
want it. Everyone says they want to do all these different things, but it's not that important to them. It's not important enough. They just say that it is, right? Because for you, it absolutely was. Why? Because your actions proved that it was. And dude, if you can do it, working a full time job, having a wife that's pregnant with freaking twins, and you got two kids, and you got to be able to provide, and like just everything stacked on top of you, and you're able to do this and be an outlier, nobody has any excuses. So I'm
Yep.
glad you shared that, because people need to really sit back, in my opinion, and like really ponder and sit with their life, like when they're complacent or they're in states of comfortability, because there's a big difference between being happy and being complacent. And I think people confuse those things a lot too, right? I'm good. I'm happy where I'm at. Are you actually happy? Like, are you fulfilled, or are you just complacent? Are you just comfortable? Because
Yeah.
comfortability, complacency will kill people.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, like I was like, I remember, I think I told you, it was like we went into the doctor's appointment and we came out, we had just heard a bunch of really bad news. Like basically
Yeah.
we're gonna have to go in and give like do an emergency C-section. And I get in the parking lot and I get a phone call from this guy I've been trying to close as a roofer. Anyways, he's like, "Yep, I want to move forward." I'm like, "Perfect." Closed them on the phone in the parking lot. And then we went in and I still had to collect payment. So we went in that next
Yeah.
day, gave birth, and then the twins came. And then I remember being in the hospital and I was like, "Hey man, this is like the next day or the day after." And I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come over and collect payment." And I remember I drove over, collected the $10,000 check, and that all happened in the midst of everything. So there's no excuses.
Yeah, not at all. This is crazy, bro. Okay, I love this. So I think this is great. We can. I want to wrap up with a question for you, where I just want to ask, like, for anyone watching this, that's probably in a similar position that you were in, or to make it even easier, if you 6 months ago or a year ago were watching this right now, what would you say to them? Similar position to where you were then.
Yeah,
What do they need to do?
I
What do
would
they need to
say,
change?
um, number one, you need to bet on yourself and take risks.
Mm,
Um, and then I would say too, you need to get really clear on your why. Like and I think it comes back to, do you really want this? Like, is this like, do
mm,
you really want to change your life? And like, why? Um, why do you want to make more money, become more independent, have more freedom? Like get the why. Because like the reality is too, is like sometimes like I don't have like I work harder probably now than I did when I was working for
oh
somebody
yeah.
else.
Oh yeah.
I have more stress sometimes, working for myself, but I also have way more freedom than I've ever had as far as like financial freedom.
Mm,
Um, I mean, there's so many areas, but um, my why is very, very defined. Like I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And um, because of that, nothing is going to change the outcome that I'm going after. Like no
and
amount of failure, like no amount of roadblocks. Like I'm I'm going to make this work. I'm going to hit $100,000. I even have bigger goals than that, and we're going to do this because my why is very, very defined. And so I would just say, like, if I was talking to me or someone else, like, hey, figure out why you want it, and just don't wait, don't procrastinate.
amen to that. I can get on board with that. I agree. Dude, this was great. Super valuable. Appreciate you setting aside the time. If you're watching this right now, um, you have two options. Either option one, you can sit back and go, yeah, it was a good video. I feel good. And then rely on motivation for another day. And then you forget about it. And then you go back to doing the same shit you've been doing. And then you wonder why 6 months from now, you're still in the same spot. Or you can actually stop watching the video, sit with this for a minute, ponder it, write some shit down, and then actually make a change in your behavior so that you actually start achieving the goals that you want to achieve. And if you would like help implementing implementing this stuff, feel free to click the link below, book a call with our team. We'll see if you are a good fit and if there's any way that we can help out. But yeah, dude, thanks for hopping on, man. This is super valuable.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother. All right.